What's happening, YouTube? Eric Bauer, back again. As I always start, it's been a little while since my part one of the best shit of 2018. I've been sick, man. Happens. Pretty sick, in fact, so hence the interval of time that has lapsed. But today, I have the final installment, part 2, the best shit of 2018, in my opinion. That's one of the things you keep in mind as you watch this video. This isn't a factual list. This is totally subjective, as is all art. This is just what I appreciated the most this last year, 2018. It's kind of a lengthy list. I've got 10 basic picks, but I want to talk about some short albums, a couple demos, and whatnot before we get into the bulk of everything else. And then I've got a few things after the video at the end that I'm going to talk about, which I'm pretty fucking stoked to share on the interwebs. So without any further ado, let's fucking get into this shit. Firstly, I left it up there. I want to talk about this shit right here. The new Sodom EP, Partisan. God, this smokes. I really liked Decision Day, which was the album they put out in 2016, I want to say. This makes Decision Day look like a polished, you know, a polished thrash record, which is what it was. This thing is raw and visceral and savage, and it captures Sodom in a light that I don't feel like they've been captured in since Tapping the Vein, to be totally honest. I just picked up the CD version. There is a 10-inch available, but this fucking album EP is just great. Partisan, title track, just a freaking banger. And then you've got Conflagration, another new one, also just fucking raw, full-on Sodom the way we love them. And then they do a live version of Tired and Red. It was recorded back during some concert, 2018, I don't know. Details are on here, but I'm not going to read the fine print. And it goes to show that in 2018, live, Sodom still fucking brings it. So that was awesome. If you haven't heard it, get onto it, get into it, it fucking smokes. Next thing I want to talk about, Shorty. This Cerebral Rot, Cessation of Life. This is a tape version on Extremely Rotten Productions. Snagged this at the same time as their Demilich Nespith reissue. Cessation of Life by Cerebral Rot. It's just a fucking brutal EP of guttural, filthy death metal. And it still manages to sound fresh. So there's a lot of this stuff floating around right now. And I like a lot of it. But I would be, you know, I feel like it'd be in the wrong to say that it's all fucking as outstanding as I think the scene would like it to be. But this, and I want to say they're local to the Pacific Northwest, which is cool. This shit fucking just savage. It's awesome. What do we got next that I want to talk about? Well, shit. I'd be remiss not to mention the homie Marty Worms Glorious Dead demo EP. Rehearsal demo 2018. Marty threw this up on his Bandcamp about a month ago, maybe a little over that, and I snagged it because Marty's a friend and I like fucking death metal, and that's what you get in this album. It's just old style, fucking filthy northern death metal as described. and it's awesome. Even if Marty weren't a friend, this album would be high on my listened list of 2018 as far as EPs and demos go. Next up, we are going to talk about a fucking sick EP, Malice, Night Raids. This is a follow-up EP to their full length, which came out in 2015, I want to say. Honestly, I don't quite recall. I snagged the tape, and Blood Harvest put it out on vinyl and CD shortly thereafter. And this is more of the same. It's fucking first wave black metal worship with a lot of nuances of its own. It's very immediate. It's very, as I've said about several of the other things I've talked about, very raw. Fucking just great shit. These guys are from Boston, involved in a lot of other projects, and this EP just fucking rules. Can't recommend you get into Malleus enough. It rules. Last short album we're going to talk about, this is probably my personal favorite of the year, is the split between Cult of Abon, and I'm going to try and pronounce this, but I'm not too good with the Greek. Sadis Quentus, or Cruenta. Sadis Cruenta. It's probably just fucking butchered that. Anyway. First of all, look at that fucking artwork. Have to mention that. Fucking just incredible. This was released by Blood Harvest and Helter Skelter Productions. 45 with the big hole. Always dig that shit. Old style fucking lyric insert information. What is this, you might ask, and why is it so damn good? Well, if you were paying attention last year, Cult of Abon put out one of the best EPs of the year with Full Moon Lycanthropy, or whatever the fuck that album was. I don't remember the title 100%, but I fucking loved it. Greek shit in the old way. So what you get is some fucking ancient Hellenic black metal worship in the vein of the first couple Rotting Christ albums, Varathron, Tater, fucking that type of shit. Legit. Just so good. Can't recommend it enough. That said, that's the short shit. Let's jump over to the full lengths. I wrote these down to help me out, and to hopefully make the fucking video flow a little bit better. And hopefully I don't rewatch this and realize that this fucking Forza Macabre is too loud. Is there really such a thing as too loud? I don't know. This shit fucking rules. Anyway, let's get into this. So, the first thing we're going to go ahead and discuss this fucking LP by Ulthar. This was a late edition, and I've listened to the crap out of this record. Released by 20 Buck Spin, who just had a fucking banger of a year. Between the Ghastly that they put out, and the Tomb Mold, several other releases that they helmed in 2018. Of all of those, I think the Ghastly and this probably stand out the most. As far as what you get, it's various people, I want to say, involved with like Vastum or fucking Necrosic or Necrot, or I don't know exactly the lineup. I don't really care. All I know is that this is kind of black death metal with a very weird lean to the music. It's very inspired by Lovecraft. I would almost hesitate to say that it's entirely inspired by Lovecraft. And you definitely get that sense by looking at that freaking gorgeous cover art. That painting is just amazing. 20 Buck Spin's website, their write-up is basically what sold me on this. I bought this blind, and there was a rudimentary Peni comparison. Anytime you're going to throw up a rudimentary Peni comparison to some fucking death or black metal, I'm into it immediately. And this doesn't disappoint. It's definitely one that will continue to come off of the shelves in years to come and not be forgotten in the future. Really, really great stuff. And seriously, urge everyone to fucking check it out. ASAP. ASAP. What do I want to talk about now? Yeah, talk about some more death metal. Why not? We got the new Rune Magic. I was waiting for this one for a while, man. Released in Europe previous to this version, which is the US press, done by Parasitic. So you've got the fine folks there to thank for this really great package. I love the version of the cover art on this US release. The Europe release is pretty nice. Also, I have seen it, but this one I think takes it in terms of the art matching the vibe of the album itself. I have talked about Rune Magic before on this channel. Fucking just amazing Swedish death metal, but very, very, very doom heavy. It's mammoth, it's monstrous, it sounds massive. It is probably one of my favorite releases from Rune Magic to date. I want to say that I really like Envenom, and I think this is better. So definitely high on my list for the year. And one of the things I will also mention is I didn't bother to rank this shit. So they're all basically going to weigh equally on the listener until we kind of get down towards the last couple I'm going to talk about. I would say definitely rankable in my list for whatever that's worth. You know, who the fuck cares? I'm one person. It's my opinion. Anyway, control myself. Next thing I'm going to talk about, fucking Mass Grave from Vancouver, British Columbia, if I'm not mistaken. Fucking love this tape. This band has been around forever. This was released by Unrest Records. We've also put out a vinyl version. If you're not familiar with Mass Grave, they are probably one of the longest standing fucking, I don't know, what would you call them? Grindcore. Grindcore? Crust, grind, fucking D-beat. All of those elements come into play on this album. It's a little less sloppy than previous efforts by Mass Grave. Here's the tape again. Look at that fucking slime green, my favorite color. And this album just smokes. From beginning to end, it is a savage, urgent call to arms. Fucking just immensely enjoyable. It's grindy, but it's got hooks and groove that you've got to listen for. It's there. It's sometimes subtle, but it rules. Nothing more to say about that. Next thing we are gonna discuss. Oh, where are we on this list? Man. Oh shit. Let's just go right into this one. Butcher ABC from Japan. Released by Headsplit Records on tape. Also came out on CD. And you know what to say about Butcher ABC. It's fucking filthy, old school grind. You hear a lot of Repulsion worship, a lot of Unseen Terror worship in here. Old Carcass. It's great, man. These guys have been around for a long time, and this is the first proper release in a very long time. They've done a lot of EPs, a lot of splits. They have a pretty big discography, but this full length is fucking where it's at. It's just, it's awesome. It's a nice breath of fresh air when everybody's trying to do the dirty, finished death metal sound. To hear something like this, harkening back to fucking Repulsion, or old Autopsy, like you said, Unseen Terror, old Carcass, Smokes. All right, next thing we're going to talk about. Pick my battles. Also from Japan, SU-19B. Fucking Neutralize. This album. That artwork. This album sounds like that artwork. This was released by fucking RSR Records in Germany. And what to say about this album? It is a beast. Japanese, there's grindcore elements to this album. There are drone and sludge elements to this album. It's not kitschy. It's fucking just very much flows from start to finish. It's very much an album that you want to put on side A, listen to entirely, flip over, put on side B, and then listen to entirely. It's a fucking journey album. For as regressive and, you know, what would you say, gory, I guess, as that artwork, maybe obvious would be a good word, but it's not. It's got a lot of layers to it, a lot of subtlety, and I listened to this a whole hell of a lot. There was quite a few releases from Japan that came out this year that piqued my interest. This and that Butcher ABC, definitely the highest two on that list. Like I said, this album kills. It's going to be reached for some time to come. Where am I at? Alright. A couple more tapes. Got the new Tarantula. Fucking the very best of sex and violence, released by Pissed Off Records. Pissed Off Records is a tape label out of fucking somewhere in the South Pacific. Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. I could be wrong on all counts. It's very likely. Anyway, this tape is fucking awesome. Tarantula are a hardcore band from the US featuring members of Kulo and Gasrag. And if you're familiar with Kulo or Gasrag, that's kind of what you're gonna get with this album. It's a lot dirtier, however. Not as savage as their previous offerings, but still just brutal assault, fucking hardcore music. Just dirty, short, to the point. There's a cover of fucking. There's a cover of In League with Satan on here that just slams, fucking rules. Totally chant-worthy, and it's obviously a labor of love for these guys. It's nothing original, but it is highly enjoyable, and just probably one of the catchiest things that you're going to hear from 2018. City Hunter, Deep Blood. It's been on a lot of lists so far. There's a reason for that. It fucking rules. This is just savage, fucking hardcore. A lot of people have called it blackened hardcore. I don't really get the blackened connotation, except for in the production, I guess. But I don't hear a lot of black metal in this. It's just pummeling, disgusting, short and sweet fucking hardcore. Violent as fuck. I mean, if you see that cover, back, that's what the tape sounds like. It's fucking awesome. I mean, I really can't say more about this than that. It's so damn good. Alright. Getting there. This one's a beast. Let me get in position so I can fucking get this shit out properly. This is one that I honestly was not super familiar with prior to the release or announcement of this release by Nuclear War Now. I'm talking about the new Faust Coven. This stuff is just, it's so good. One of my favorite discoveries of the year, easily. I bought the Die Hard edition. I never buy Die Hard editions. Got this freaking story that goes along with the album. It's just, it's this whole piece of music is an experience, and it's freaking excellent. Came with a bonus 7-inch Die Hard, which, you know, is more of the same. It's just doomy, emotive black metal. It's very raw. It's very reminiscent of like that second wave style of black metal that I haven't been able to get enough of in 2018. I've been going back to a lot of the old classics this last year, and this album is just, it harkens back to that, but in a way where, you know, it retains its own identity. There's the bonus 7-inch that came with it. It's just a gripping listen, and probably to you know, 8 Pat from Ground Zero Salem, one of the most unsung black metal acts out there right now. I mean, in my opinion, if you haven't listened to this and you're a black metal fan, you are doing yourself a basic disservice. So I urge you to get into that stat. It's fucking awesome. Now, I got my top shit. These are ranked, basically. That Faust Coven, these two, top 3, for sure. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about, Axe Grinder, Satori. This album came out of nowhere for me. I had no idea it was coming until the day it came out. I got a comment on an old video of mine that I put out in summertime, at least early summer, talking about this record. So I had to go seek it out, and I was blown away by the advanced tracks that I heard. I ran down to the record store, one of my local shops, managed to get a copy in stock. Satori means sudden enlightenment, and this album is a very slow burn, but it's so reflective of the title, and just in how spontaneously this album came to be, and how urgent the message is that Axe Grinder has on this record. It's very fueled by the current state of the world. If you're familiar with Axe Grinder, you know they are definitely a band that flirts with politics. Purple Vinyl. It's on Rise Against Records, by the way. Fucking got Steve and fucking Trev still kicking. If you have only heard Axe Grinder's Rise of the Serpent Men, don't expect that on this album. If I had to compare it to anything, I would say listen to that last Amoebics full length, or the fucking Anti-Sect LP that Rise Against put out not too long ago. I would say like 2016, maybe it was 2017. I don't remember. And you get that kind of just driving crust. It harkens back to that old Axe Grinder sound, of course, Amoebics inspired. But it's so good, and it's just so refreshing to have a favorite like this. And I've loved Axe Grinder for a long time, and this album, it doesn't disappoint. Every time I listen to it, I find something new to appreciate. It just rules, man, honestly. So now, we are to my favorite album of 2018, by far. And I've been singing the praise of this record for a long time. Sir Meatwad, Marvel, discussed this in his video, and The Dark Path talked about this in his video. So we're talking about Masters Hammers, fascinating. To start, that cover art is fucking incredible. If you're familiar with Masters Hammer, you know that longtime frontman Frantis Storm, he does all the artwork for these guys' releases. And the artwork in this is just, it's incredible. It's definitely an appropriate accompaniment to the album itself. And as far as the album itself goes, you've got, well, Black Wax. Look at that label. I'm not usually a sucker for labels, but these are killer. Got Uzumaki going on there. Anyway, let's talk more about this fucking Masters Hammer album. Masters Hammer's been around forever, and in my opinion, Masters Hammer released the best black metal album of all time when they put out the album Ritual. Their follow-up, the Jilmeneki Apprentice, came close to matching the amazingness and rawness and creativity of Ritual, but not quite. And then they threw everyone for a loop by releasing Slaggery, which is just a fucking album of genius, weirdness, and two fingers in the air to the current black metal scene at the time, which they thought was getting too trendy and too freaking accessible. So they made a weird fucking album that has little to no metal in it, still rules. And then they disappeared for a long time, came back in 2011 or 2007, somewhere between 2008 and 2011, with a couple albums released back to back in years. Mantras was one. That album's another incredible opus. And then another album that followed, which I can't remember the title for, but it's got a picture of an angel pouring a pitcher of water on a plant, and it is another incredible piece of music. And they followed that up with one or two full lengths that were, they're alright, not bad. But this album picks up right there where that Mantras and the follow-up to that came up. It's genius. It is infinitely listenable. Melodic, but raw. Frantis' vocals are just, if you've heard Masters Hammer, you know they are a weird oddity unto themselves, and they accompany the music better than I can imagine any other vocal styling accompanying the music. As far as the rest of the band, Silent Hell, another OG member, he's on this album. And then you've got fucking Honza, and then some members of the band Black Osh helping out with the instrumentation on this record. Every song on here is fucking incredible. Fascinator, the title track, just fucking rules. Psycho Parasite, that's my jam right there. Freaking Satanska Necrophilini Porna. Necrophilny Porna. Fucking just genius. Every song on here is so good. Crocodile. Kleba. It's a massive achievement, like that Axe Grinder, that a band with this kind of pedigree as Masters Hammer and longevity of Masters Hammer can put it on an album in 2018 and have it rule as much as this one does. Like I said, favorite album 2018, no question, right there. And that's it. That's my list. I got it done in under 30 minutes, and that's pretty fucking good. I do want to throw out some shout-outs. Some people that I have connected with over the last year that I feel like need to be mentioned if it weren't already obvious. People that have helped me out through some times this year, as well as previous years, since becoming acquainted, who also have channels. Of course, I've already mentioned Marty Worm. Subscribe. Fucking Pat, Ground Zero Salem. Gotta subscribe to Pat. Aaron the Metal Theologian. Subscribe to that guy. Sir Meatwad. Subscribe to that guy. Fucking Jason Hook. Get into it. Subscribe to him. Eli. Dark Hymns of the Cold North. Subscribe to him. Travis. Lyricide 71. Subscribe to him. Fucking Ben. Ben Smasher. Subscribe to that guy. A lot of these guys have more subs than I do. That's the way it is. A lot of these guys have less subs than I do. That's why I'm fucking name dropping them right subscribe to their shit, follow their videos. They're great people, and their videos are fucking entertaining. And isn't that why you go to YouTube? To watch people talk about their fucking record collections? It's for the entertainment. That said, I've been working on some shit, and I'm going to announce it here because I've already announced it on my other forms of social media, and that is my upcoming podcast. It's going to be a monthly thing. I've been working on it pretty hard over the last month, and it will be up for the initial episode this weekend. I am ironing out a few of the editorial kinks. It's basically ready to go. What's it going to be? Deep dives into various artists or genres. There will be roundtable discussions with other hosts. There will be playlists, basically, where I DJ playlists that I've selected certain people to curate for me. I'm very excited about this project. It's something I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and it's a format that I can really jive with as far as getting my thoughts down, getting it all edited out, and putting it out there for you guys to listen to. If you're into podcasts, peep it. I'll have a link down below. There's nothing there yet. Like I said, the inaugural episode, don't expect until probably tomorrow, maybe Sunday at the latest. Follow me on social media, Instagram. I post about it there. And of course, there is a High Defamation podcast page on Facebook, as much as I hate it. Anyway, thanks for keeping 2018 real, YouTube, for coming back with the comments, keeping me engaged, keeping this channel going, the support, the likes, the dislikes. It's all traffic. And it's all engagement. And I just want to talk about music. Peace out, YouTube. Have a great 2019.